I'm trying to figure out here. Numbers up to 79. Numbers 7.
Chapter 7. Offerings of Dedication. On the day Moses set up the tabernacle, he anointed it and set it apart as holy. He also anointed and set apart all its furnishings and the altar with its utensils. Then the leaders of Israel, the tribal leaders who had registered the troops, came and brought their offerings. Together they brought 6 large wagons and 12 oxen. There was a wagon for every 2 leaders and an ox for each leader. They presented these to the Lord in front of the tabernacle. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Receive their gifts, and use these oxen and wagons for transporting the tabernacle. Distribute them among the Levites according to the work they have to do." So Moses took the wagons and oxen and presented them to the Levites. He gave 2 wagons and 4 oxen to the Gershonite division for their work, and he gave 4 wagons and 8 oxen to the Merarite division for their work. All their work was done under the leadership of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. But he gave none of the wagons or oxen to the Kohathite division, since they were required to carry the sacred objects of the tabernacle on their shoulders. The leaders also presented dedication gifts for the altar at the time it was anointed. They each placed their gifts before the altar. The Lord said to Moses, "Let one leader bring his gift each day for the dedication of the altar." On the first day, Nahshon, son of Amminadab, leader of the tribe of Judah, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3 1/4 pounds and a silver basin weighing 1 3/4 pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Nahshon, son of Amminadab. On the second day, Nathanael, son of Zuar, leader of the tribe of Issachar, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3 1/4 pounds and a silver basin weighing 1 3/4 pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Nathanael, son of Zuar. On the third day, Eliab, son of Helon, leader of the tribe of Zebulun, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3 1/4 pounds and a silver basin weighing 1 3/4 pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Eliab, son of Helon. On the fourth day, Eliezer, son of Shader, leader of the tribe of Reuben, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds and a silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Eliezer, son of Shader. On the 5th day, Shelomiel, son of Zurishaddai, leader of the tribe of Simeon, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds and a silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Shelomiel, son of Zurishaddai. On the 6th day, Eliasaph, son of Duel, leader of the tribe of Gad, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds and a silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Eliasaph, son of Duel. On the 7th day, Elishama, son of Ammihud, leader of the tribe of Ephraim, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds and a silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Elishama, son of Ammihud. On the 8th day, Gamaliel, son of Pedazur, leader of the tribe of Manasseh, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds and a silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Gamaliel, son of Pedazur. On the 9th day, Abidan, son of Gideoni, leader of the tribe of Benjamin, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds and a silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Abidan, son of Gideoni. On the 10th day, Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai, leader of the tribe of Dan, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds and a silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. On the 11th day, Pagiel son of Ochran, leader of the tribe of Asher, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds and a silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Pagiel son of Ochran. On the 12th day, Ahira son of Enan, leader of the tribe of Naphtali, presented his offering. His offering consisted of a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds and a silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. These were both filled with grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. He also brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, which was filled with incense. He brought a young bull, a ram, and a 1-year-old male lamb for a burnt offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, he brought 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 1-year-old male lambs. This was the offering brought by Ahira son of Enan. So this was the dedication offering brought by the leaders of Israel at the time the altar was anointed: 12 silver platters, 12 silver basins, and 12 gold incense containers. Each silver platter weighed 3¼ pounds, and each silver basin weighed 1¾ pounds. The total weight of the silver was 60 pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. Each of the 12 gold containers that was filled with incense weighed 4 ounces, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. The total weight of the gold was 3 pounds. 12 young bulls, 12 rams, and 12 1-year-old male lambs were donated for the burnt offerings, along with their prescribed grain offerings. 12 male goats were brought for the sin offerings. 24 bulls, 60 rams, 60 male goats, and 60 1-year-old male lambs were donated for the peace offerings. This was the dedication offering for the altar after it was anointed. Whenever Moses went into the tabernacle to speak with the Lord, he heard the voice speaking to him from between the 2 cherubim above the ark's cover, the place of atonement, that rests on the ark of the covenant. The Lord spoke to him from there.
So Numbers chapter 7 says the offering of the princes. This chapter takes us back to Exodus 40:17, when the tabernacle had been set up. The leaders of Israel were the heads of the various tribes, and their names were robbery given in Numbers 1:5-16. And in Numbers 2, they first all brought an offering of 6 covered carts and 12 oxen. Moses distributed 2 carts and 4 oxen, and 2 sons of Gershon, and 4 carts and 8 oxen to the Merarites to be used in carrying their share of the tabernacle fixtures. No wagons or oxen were given to the Kohathites, because they were bore the precious burden of the sacred vessels on their shoulders. The tribal leaders brought offerings on 12 consecutive days for the dedication of the altar, and these offerings are described in the detail as follows. Numbers chapter 7, verse 84, verse 89. The total of the gifts is given in verse 84-80. God doesn't forget any service that is done for him, and he keeps a careful record. At the close of the offering, Moses went into the most holy place and heard the voice of God speaking to him from above the mercy seat, and perhaps expressing satisfaction with the gifts of the leaders. Although Moses was of the tribe of Levi, he was not a priest, and yet God made an exception in his case, not only at first authorizing him to enter the most holy place, but commanding him to do so, as in Exodus chapter 25, 21, 22. So Numbers chapter 8 now. If we were just turn.
Chapter 8. Preparing the lamps. The Lord said to Moses, "Give Aaron the following instructions. When you set up the 7 lamps in the lampstand, place them so their light shines forward in front of the lampstand." So Aaron did this. He set up the 7 lamps so they reflected their light forward, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The entire lampstand, from its base to its decorative blossoms, was made of beaten gold. It was built according to the exact design the Lord had shown Moses. The Levites dedicated. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Now set the Levites apart from the rest of the people of Israel and make them ceremonially clean. Do this by sprinkling them with the water of purification, and have them shave their entire body and wash their clothing. Then they will be ceremonially clean. Have them bring a young bull and a grain offering of choice flour moistened with olive oil, along with a second young bull for a sin offering. Then assemble the whole community of Israel and present the Levites at the entrance of the tabernacle. When you present the Levites before the Lord, the people of Israel must lay their hands on them. Raising his hands, Aaron must then present the Levites to the Lord as a special offering from the people of Israel, thus dedicating them to the Lord's service. Next, the Levites will lay their hands on the heads of the young bulls. Present one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering to the Lord, to purify the Levites and make them right with the Lord. Then have the Levites stand in front of Aaron and his sons, and raise your hands and present them as a special offering to the Lord. In this way you will set the Levites apart from the rest of the people of Israel, and the Levites will belong to me. After this they may go into the tabernacle to do their work, because you have purified them and presented them as a special offering. Of all the people of Israel, the Levites are reserved for me. I have claimed them for myself in place of all the firstborn sons of the Israelites. I have taken the Levites as their substitutes. For all the firstborn males among the people of Israel are mine, both of people and of animals. I set them apart for myself on the day I struck down all the firstborn sons of the Egyptians. Yes, I have claimed the Levites in place of all the firstborn sons of Israel. And of all the Israelites, I have assigned the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They will serve in the tabernacle on behalf of the Israelites and make sacrifices to purify the people, so no plague will strike them when they approach the sanctuary. So Moses, Aaron, and the whole community of Israel dedicated the Levites, carefully following all the Lord's instructions to Moses. The Levites purified themselves from sin and washed their clothes, and Aaron lifted them up and presented them to the Lord as a special offering. He then offered a sacrifice to purify them and make them right with the Lord. After that, the Levites went into the tabernacle to perform their duties, assisting Aaron and his sons. So they carried out all the commands that the Lord gave Moses concerning the Levites. The Lord also instructed Moses, "This is the rule the Levites must follow. They must begin serving in the tabernacle at the age of 25, and they must retire at the age of 50. After retirement, they may assist their fellow Levites by serving as guards at the tabernacle, but they may not officiate in the service. This is how you must assign duties to the Levites."
So, commentary of Numbers chapter 8. The services of the tabernacle, chapter 8. Numbers chapter 8, verse 1-4. Aaron was instructed to arrange the lamps on the golden lampstand in such a way that the light would be cast in front of the lampstand. If the light speaks of the testimony of the Holy Spirit and the lampstand speaks of Christ, then it is a reminder that the Spirit's ministry is to glorify Christ. Numbers chapter 8, verse 5, verse 13. In the conservation of the Levites is described next. They were first cleansed by sprinkling with the water of purification, explained in Numbers 19. By the shaving their bodies with a razor, and by washing their clothes and themselves. The representatives of the people laid their hands on their heads of the Levites at the door of the tabernacle, and Aaron offered the Levites before the Lord like a wave offering. This reminds us of Romans 12:1-2, where today believers are to present their bodies as a living sacrifice to God. Moses then offered a burnt offering and a sin offering. Numbers chapter 8, verse 14, verse 22. God repeats that he had chosen the Levites to belong to himself instead of the firstborn whom he had claimed as his own after the Exodus. The Levites were appointed to serve the priests. The consecration of the Levites took place as commanded, and they took up their service in connection with the tabernacle. Leviticus chapter 8, verse 23, verse 26. The Levites were to serve from 25 years of age to 50. Verse 24 in Numbers chapter 4:3, the beginning age was said to be 30 years. Some take the reference in chapter 4 to apply to those who carried the tabernacle through the wilderness. They understand the lower age in chapter 8 to refer to the service at the tabernacle after it had been set up in the promised land, and others understand the additional 5 years to be a sort of apprenticeship. Those retiring at 50 years of age no longer did heavy work, but were allowed to continue in a kind of supervisory captivity. This verse is distinguished between work and ministry, or attending to needs. The former is heavily work, the latter is overseeing. And someone has pointed out that the Levites are pictures of Christians who are redeemed, cleansed, and set apart to serve the Lord, having no inheritance on earth.
Chapter 9.
So this is Numbers chapter 9 now.
The second Passover. A year after Israel's departure from Egypt, the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai. In the first month of that year, he said, "Tell the Israelites to celebrate the Passover at the prescribed time, at twilight, on the 14th day of the first month. Be sure to follow all my decrees and regulations concerning this celebration." So Moses told the people to celebrate the Passover in the wilderness of Sinai as twilight fell on the 14th day of the month. And they celebrated the festival there, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. But some of the men had been ceremonially defiled by touching a dead body, so they could not celebrate the Passover that day. They came to Moses and Aaron that day and said, "We have become ceremonially unclean by touching a dead body, but why should we be prevented from presenting the Lord's offering at the proper time with the rest of the Israelites?" Moses answered, "Wait here until I have received instructions for you from the Lord." This was the Lord's reply to Moses. "Give the following instructions to the people of Israel. If any of the people now or in future generations are ceremonially unclean at Passover time because of touching a dead body, or if they are on a journey and cannot be present at the ceremony, they may still celebrate the Lord's Passover. They must offer the Passover sacrifice 1 month later at twilight on the 14th day of the second month. They must eat the Passover lamb at that time with bitter salad greens and bread made without yeast. They must not leave any of the lamb until the next morning, and they must not break any of its bones. They must follow all the normal regulations concerning the Passover. But those who neglect to celebrate the Passover at the regular time, even though they are ceremonially clean and not away on a trip, will be cut off from the community of Israel. If they fail to present the Lord's offering at the proper time, they will suffer the consequences of their guilt. And if foreigners living among you want to celebrate the Passover to the Lord, they must follow these same decrees and regulations. The same laws apply both to native-born Israelites and to the foreigners living among you. The fiery cloud. On the day the tabernacle was set up, the cloud covered it. But from evening until morning, the cloud over the tabernacle looked like a pillar of fire. This was the regular pattern. At night, the cloud that covered the tabernacle had the appearance of fire. Whenever the cloud lifted from over the sacred tent, the people of Israel would break camp and follow it. And wherever the cloud settled, the people of Israel would set up camp. In this way, they traveled and camped at the Lord's command wherever he told them to go. Then they remained in their camp as long as the cloud stayed over the tabernacle. If the cloud remained over the tabernacle for a long time, the Israelites stayed and performed their duty to the Lord. Sometimes the cloud would stay over the tabernacle for only a few days, so the people would stay for only a few days, as the Lord commanded. Then, at the Lord's command, they would break camp and move on. Sometimes the cloud stayed only overnight and lifted the next morning. But day or night, when the cloud lifted, the people broke camp and moved on. Whether the cloud stayed above the tabernacle for 2 days, a month, or a year, the people of Israel stayed in camp and did not move on. But as soon as it lifted, they broke camp and moved on. So they camped or traveled at the Lord's command, and they did whatever the Lord told them through Moses.
So Numbers chapter 9, verse 5. Numbers chapter 9, verse 1 to 14, the Passover, the cloud, and the silver trumpets. God's instructions to keep the Passover. Preceded events chapter 1. Not all the events in Numbers are chronological. The Passover was kept on the 14th day of the first month. Special provision was made for those who were ceremonially defiled, perhaps involuntary through contact with a human corpse, or were away on a journey to keep the Passover 1 month later on the 14th day of the second month. Verse 6:12. But anyone else who failed to keep the Passover was cut off from among the people. Verse 13. A stranger, then Gentile, was permitted to keep the Lord's Passover if he so desired, but on the same terms as the Jews. Numbers chapter 9, 15, 23. In these verses anticipate the next chapters. They describe the glory cloud which covered the tabernacle, the cloud by day and the appearance of fire by night. Whenever the cloud lifted off the tabernacle, the people of Israel were to break camp and march forward. When the cloud settled, the people were to stop and pitch their tents. The cloud was, of course, a symbol of God guiding his people. Although the Lord does not lead in such a visible way today, we walk by faith, not by sight. The principles are still valid. Move when the Lord moves, and not before, because darkness is about, quarrel is light about staying. Numbers 10, 1:10. Moses was instructed to make 2 silver trumpets, as these were to be used to assemble the congregation at the door of the tabernacle of a meeting. Give the signal for marching forward, assemble the leaders. Only 1 trumpet was used for this. Sound an alarm in time of war. Announce certain special days such as feasts and days. Different trumpet calls were used for these different purposes. Sounding the events in verse 5 was the signal to march. The tribes on the east side of the tabernacle set out first. The sound of events was the signal for on the south side to start. Presumably those on the west and north followed in that order. The trumpets were not only for the wilderness march, but were to be used in the land as well. Note the words, in your land. God would fulfill his promise made to Abraham. His descendants would be given land, but their disobedience and faithlessness would delay their interest for 40 days. I don't know where I went to 14. So Numbers chapter 10.
Chapter 10. The Silver Trumpets. Now the Lord said to Moses, make 2 trumpets of hammered silver for calling the community to assemble, and for signaling the breaking of camp. When both trumpets are blown, everyone must gather before you at the entrance of the tabernacle. But if only 1 trumpet is blown, then only the leaders, the heads of the clans of Israel, must present themselves to you. When you sound the signal to move on, the tribes camped on the east side of the tabernacle must break camp and move forward. When you sound the signal a second time, the tribes camped on the south will follow. You must sound short blasts as the signal for moving on. But when you call the people to an assembly, blow the trumpets with a different signal. Only the priests, Aaron's descendants, are allowed to blow the trumpets. This is a permanent law for you to be observed from generation to generation. When you arrive in your own land and go to war against your enemies who attack you, sound the alarm with the trumpets. Then the Lord your God will remember you and rescue you from your enemies. Blow the trumpets in times of gladness, too, sounding them at your annual festivals and at the beginning of each month. And blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings and peace offerings. The trumpets will remind the Lord your God of his covenant with you. I am the Lord your God. The Israelites leave Sinai. In the second year after Israel's departure from Egypt, on the 20th day of the second month, the cloud lifted from the tabernacle of the covenant. So the Israelites set out from the wilderness of Sinai and traveled on from place to place until the cloud stopped in the wilderness of Paran. When the people set out for the first time, following the instructions the Lord had given through Moses, Judah's troops led the way. They marched behind their banner, and their leader was Nahshon, son of Amminadab. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Issachar, led by Nathanael, son of Zur, and the troops of the tribe of Zebulun, led by Eliab, son of Helon. Then the tabernacle was taken down, and the Gershonite and Merarite divisions of the Levites were next in the line of march, carrying the tabernacle with them. Reuben's troops went next, marching behind their banner. Their leader was Eliezer, son of Shader. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Simeon, led by Shelomiel, son of Zurishaddai, and the troops of the tribe of Gad, led by Eliasaph, son of Duel. Next came the Kohathite division of the Levites carrying the sacred objects from the tabernacle. Before they arrived at the next camp, the tabernacle would already be set up at its new location. Ephraim's troops went next, marching behind their banner. Their leader was Elishama, son of Ammihud. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Manasseh, led by Gamaliel, son of Pedazur, and the troops of the tribe of Benjamin, led by Abidan, son of Gideoni. Dan's troops went last, marching behind their banner and serving as the rear guard for all the tribal camps. Their leader was Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Asher, led by Pagiel, son of Ochran, and the troops of the tribe of Naphtali, led by Ahira, son of Enan. This was the order in which the Israelites marched, division by division. One day Moses said to his brother-in-law, Hobab, son of Ruel the Midianite, "We are on our way to the place the Lord promised us, for he said, 'I will give it to you. Come with us, and we will treat you well, for the Lord has promised wonderful blessings for Israel.' But Hobab replied, 'No, I will not go. I must return to my own land and family.' 'Please don't leave us,' Moses pleaded. 'You know the places in the wilderness where we should camp. Come be our guide. If you do, we'll share with you all the blessings the Lord gives us.' They marched for 3 days after leaving the mountain of the Lord, with the ark of the Lord's covenant moving ahead of them to show them where to stop and rest. As they moved on each day, the cloud of the Lord hovered over them. And whenever the ark set out, Moses would shout, 'Arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered. Let them flee before you.' And when the ark was set down, he would say, 'Return, O Lord, to the countless thousands of Israel.'"
Okay, I'm going to be done after I read this. From Sinai to the Plains of Moab, commentary. Numbers chapter 10. It said from Sinai wilderness, verses 11. Numbers chapter 10, verse 11. Verses 11 marks the definitive division in the book up to this point. The people had camped at Mount Sinai from verse 11 to 22, verse 1 is the record of journey from Mount Sinai to the plains of Moab, just outside the Promised Land. This journey covered a period of almost 40 years, and it did not start until the 20th day. The 20th day, because of the celebration of the second Passover, see Numbers 9, verse 10, 11. Numbers chapter 10, verse 12, verse 13. The first selection of the journey was from Mount Sinai to the wilderness of Paran. However, there were 3 stops before they reached the wilderness. Tabria, Kibria, Hadia, I don't know how to say them names, and Hazarah. They actually reached the wilderness of Paran in Numbers chapter 12, verse 16. Numbers chapter 10, verse 15, verse 28. The order in which the tribes march is given next. The leader of each tribe was at his head, and the order is the same in chapter 2, with one exception in 2, verse 17. It seems that the Levites march after God and before Ephraim. In 10, verse 17, the Gershonites and Merarites are listed after the Zebanim, and the Kiriites, the Korites after God. Apparently, the Gershonites and Merarites moved on ahead with the equipment so they could have it all set up at the camping site when the Korites arrived with the secret vessels. Numbers chapter 10, 29, verse 32. Hoda was Moses' brother-in-law. Regu, same as Reuel and Jeriel, was Haber's father and therefore Moses' father-in-law. Being a Midnight Hoba was probably very familiar with the wilderness. Perhaps that's why Moses invited him to accompany the Israelites. It can be our eyes. Many Bible interpreters believe that this invitation showed a lack of faith on Moses' part, since God has already promised to God. Another view is held by Kurtz, who suggests the pillar of the cloud determined the general route to be taken, the place of encampment, and the length of terror in each location, yet human produced. Human prudence was no means precluded with respect to arranging the encampment so as to combine most of the advantages. The circumstances of where the pastor, shelter, supply of fuel, and all these particular hopes, experience, and knowledge of the desert would be exceedingly useful assembly to the guidance of the cloud. Numbers chapter 10, verse 33, verse 44. The ark of the covenant was wrapped in a veil, was separated the holy place from the most holy, Numbers 4:5. It was carried by the Kohath at the front of the procession. The trip from Sinai to Kadesh Barnea lasted 3 days. The glory cloud overshadowed the people at the Lord's search out a resting place for them. Numbers chapter 10, verse 35, verse 36. We are not told whether Hobab actually did accompany the Israelites. However, it appears for Judges chapter 1:16 and 4:11 that he did, since his descendants are found among the Israelites. Whenever the ark set out in the morning, Moses called on the Lord for victory, and when at evening it rested, he prayed for the Lord to return to the people of Israel.